In this video, we are going to see about magnetic boundary conditions. These are similar to same electric boundary conditions. To analyze this one here, just have a general analysis about this magnetic boundary conditions. First one is consider one boundary. Okay, this is one boundary. Okay, just like a cricket at the boundary, right? There are two conditions. If ball touches the boundary anywhere, right, over the entire boundary line, then the number of runs are same. If the ball passes over the boundary line anywhere, everywhere, then the number of runs are same. So therefore, how many conditions are existing with respect to cricket? Two conditions. One is touching the ball, another one is going over the boundary line. So two conditions at the boundary line in a cricket. Similarly here also two conditions that we are going to analyze with respect to magnetic boundary conditions. Two conditions are, one is parallel to the boundary line, another one is perpendicular to the boundary line. One is parallel to the boundary line, another one is perpendicular to the boundary line. Parallel is called as a tangential. Parallel is called as a tangential. So therefore we need to determine the tangential component. Perpendicular is called as a normal. So we are going to obtain the normal component. Two cases. Case one is tangential component and another case is normal component. Now let's see here how to analyze this one. To analyze the tangential component, we need to consider a rectangular box. Why? Means these two sides are parallel to the what? Boundary line. So therefore we will consider the rectangular box. But to analyze the normal component, we will consider a circular shape or cylindrical shape. Why? Means, right, this component will be 0 perpendicular, only these two sides will approach the boundary line. So whatever the shape we consider, also we can get the normal component. But in this case the two sides must be parallel to the boundary line. Then we will get the tangential component expression. Now let's see here how this can be applicable for the magnetic boundary conditions. So the definition will be same exactly as per the electric boundary conditions. Now what we are going to determine is, at the boundary, the conditions of B bar and H bar. Why it is B bar and H bar? Means B bar is called magnetic flux density, H is called as a magnetic field intensity. There in electric boundary conditions we determine the E component and the D component are studied. At the boundary we have to find the tangential component and the normal components of B and H bar. Consider the boundary between the two dielectric mediums. It is a dielectric medium, it is a boundary line. Below the boundary line the medium is M2 and the property of that medium 2 is, that is permittivity, is mu2. Above this boundary line there is a one more medium, that is called as a medium 1. The permittivity of the medium 1 is mu1. To analyze the tangential component we consider the rectangular box. To analyze the normal component we consider a circular cylindrical shape. So it is normal component means Bn1. Why it is Bn1? Means it is in medium 1. Why it is Bn2? Means it is medium 2. N stands for normal. Medium 1, N1, medium 2, N2. Similarly here also, right, tangential component B tan 1 and B tan 2. B tan 1, B tan 2, Bn1, Bn2. So here the materials are isotropic, homogeneous, linear materials with permeabilities mu1 and mu2 above the medium and below the medium. The properties are mentioned. Now let's see boundary conditions for what component? Normal component. Normal means perpendicular component. So to analyze this perpendicular component we need to consider a closed cylindrical shape. That is called as a closed cylindrical shape is called as a Gaussian surface. As per the Gauss law, for a magnetic field, that is surface integration of B bar dot ds must be equal to 0. For magnetic field, no isotropic medium is then surface integration of P bar dot ds is equal to 0. This surface integration must be expanded. How the surface integration is expanded means by looking at the diagram that what we have considered with respect to normal component. It is a cylindrical shape. That means there is a top, there is a bottom as well as the side. So three terms that we are going to get with respect to the three terms. So what are the three terms? Top, bottom and side. So as delta L is very small, that is length of the cylinder is very small, the third term is neglected in the above equation. That means only the side term will be 0, only top and bottom is present. For top and bottom that we have to evaluate. So for top surface, so integration of top b bar dot ds is equal to integration of top b is equal to in the top surface is in medium 1. For medium 1 the b component is bn1 ds, right? Integration of ds is equal to delta s. It's very ds is very small, then the integration of ds is represented by delta s, bn1 delta s. Say it is one equation. Next, for bottom surface in the same way, integration bottom b bar dot ds is equal to, right, integration of b bar is in medium 2, bottom is in medium 2, so b bar is replaced with bn2 dot ds. So bn2 is a constant same, but integration of ds is equal to delta s. Substitute these two in this equation, but the bottom is in the medium 2 below the reference line, so therefore that can be represented by minus bn2 delta s, minus bn2 delta s. Finally we'll get bn1 is equal to bn2, that then in terms of h, that is the relation between b and h is b is equal to mu into h. Substitute here, you will get hn1 by divided by hn2 is equal to mu2 divided by mu1. Here it is mentioned here the negative sign is because the second component is below the reference line. So this is about the normal component condition. Similarly for tangential component condition, now let's see here boundary conditions for tangential. So consider a closed path. Closed path is represented by rectangular box. Rectangular box is having four sides. The four sides are represented by A, B, C, D. So therefore A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A. That is a closed path. So to analyze here we need to consider the Ampere circuit law. Ampere circuit law is line integral of h bar dot dl is equal to current I. Okay. So for closed path, the line integral is divided to A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A, that is equal to I. So from the diagram, right, the two sides are, that is AB as well as CD are approaching the boundary line. So therefore the two sides will be neglected. The two sides will be equal to 0. When two sides are 0, the remaining terms are integration A to B as well as integration C to D, that is equal to I. So integration of AB. AB is in medium 1, so therefore H tan 1, and integration of DL is equal to delta W, that is the length of the rectangular path that what you have considered. Now you can see here A to B length is how much? Delta W. Similarly C to D length is how much? Delta W. When this delta H is 0, that means AB parallel line is tending towards the boundary line, CD is parallel to the boundary. When CD is tending towards the boundary line, then this side as well as this side both will be 0. So therefore BC term as well as DA term is neglected. Only integration A to B, integration C to D is considered as per the mathematical equation. So therefore here the integration of DL must be equal to how much? Delta W, that is the length of the path for AB. That's why here integration of h bar dot dl, so h is AB is in medium 1, so therefore h is replaced by h tan 1, that is tangential component. Integration of dl is equal to delta W. Similarly CD is below the reference line, so therefore minus term h tan 2 delta W is equal to I. So if you simplify this one here, I divided by delta W is called as a surface current density, that is current flowing on the surface of the element or on the surface of the boundary line, then that is represented by K. So h tan 1 minus h tan 2 is equal to K, and in vector form here it is a AN12, that is from medium 1 to medium to normal component into K. So here finally, so b tan 1 by mu1 minus b tan 2 by mu2 is equal to K only. So when K is equal to 0, assume the surface current density is 0, then H tan 1 is equal to H tan 2, or b tan 1 by b tan 2 is equal to mu1 by mu2. This is about the normal components as well as the tangential component for magnetic boundary conditions. So if the field is not perpendicular to the boundary nor parallel to the boundary, then if there is some inclination, then in that case what is the mathematical equation for the boundary conditions? See here the diagram, this is the boundary line, but the magnetic field is not perpendicular, not parallel, some inclination is there. So in this case, what is a mathematical equation? How to write this one? Okay, this is a perpendicular line, this is the horizontal line. So take some position, inclination position with respect to this. So the angle between this perpendicular line and the magnetic flux density line is alpha 1. So this side it is a alpha 2. With respect to alpha 1 and alpha 2, we are going to write the mathematical equations. So the mathematical equations are tan alpha 1 is equal to b tan 1 by bn1 as per the diagram. Similarly, tan alpha 2 is equal to b tan 2 by bn2. Finally, we will get the relation tan alpha 1 by tan alpha 2 is equal to b tan 1 by bn1 into bn2 by b tan 1. Similarly, in terms of h also we can write. So these are the mathematical equations when the field is nor parallel to the boundary line nor perpendicular to the boundary line, when it is having some inclination with respect to the boundary line, what is the mathematical equations for the magnetic boundary conditions? This is about the magnetic boundary conditions. These are all similar to electric boundary conditions. If you know any one concept, the another one you can write automatically. This is also very important. You can go through this.